Hello, my football family. It's the professor, Teaserking, coming to you with week 11 of 2021 NFL. We did college yesterday. Locks are posted. I think I have 3 locks posted. Somebody asked me, well, what's the units? And I think cut 2 of them are 21. And I'm like, don't worry about the units. The units are not, if I get a real strong one, I went 29 units. It's the point that they're a lock. If they're a lock, I really love the game. And then if it just stands out, then it gets higher in units. But believe me, you can bet the lock at the 21 unit lock and a 25 unit lock are very, very similar. You might want to bet more on the 25 or the 29, but there's still, for me to lock it, it's a good play. It's a very strong play. I'm going to bet them. I'm going to bet them in 2 teasers. That's about all you need to know. So that's where I stand with that. So the college is posted. I have a pro posted. Problem with the pros is a lot of injuries. So let's go through the lines right now. And I just looked at the lines. I just looked at the injuries. Injuries don't help us yet, but the lines do. New England, 6.5, 47 tonight. Cleveland, 11. That New England game is about to start. Cleveland, minus 11, 43.5. San Francisco, 6.5, 45. Buffalo, 7.50. Miami, 3, 44.5. Carolina, 3.5, 43. Baltimore, 4.5, 45, which is down. Philly, 2.5, 43.5. It might be 2, I think. It was 1.5. Yeah, that's 2. Tennessee, 10.5, 45. Green Bay, 1.5, 47.5. Cincinnati, 150. Arizona, 2.5, 48. That's down. KC, 2.5, 55.5. San Diego, 6.5, 47. Tampa Bay, 10.5, 50. So if we look at it by what are the teams, so New England today is an A and Atlanta's a W. I do like New England. It's a game that I probably would have locked on a Sunday. Again, on Thursday, I don't like these games as much because it's a short week. So I'm just going to, casually play New England, but not in a lock just because I don't like the Thursday. Weird things happen on Thursday. It's a short week. And again, New England, so here's what I don't get. New England killed Cleveland and Atlanta got killed by Dallas. And yet, okay, New England's going to kill Atlanta, but it just never works that way. New England won't play. There'll be, things. Atlanta's embarrassed and ends up being a close game. So that's what I expect tonight. If it was Sunday, I would think New England would kill them, but because it's Thursday night, Atlanta was embarrassed. I can see Atlanta, making the game close, and that's, in a teaser, it's -0.5. It's pretty good. That's why I played it. Cleveland, 11 over Detroit. A lot of injuries on Cleveland. Detroit, their running back Swift is, I think, either questionable or out. Cleveland, Chubb's out. Just a lot of they got rid of Beckham. So you're starting to get into all these injuries, and this is what happens without preseason. When you don't have preseason, all these guys are getting injured because they're not in shape. They're being rushed in, and they're playing games that they're not ready for. It's like trying to run 2 miles, and you haven't run a mile yet, and then you start running 2 miles, but now your body breaks down because it's not used to running 2 miles. That's what's happening here, and there's so many injuries, hamstrings, and the knees are the knees, but there's a lot of hamstring and ribs. I don't understand rib injuries. Aren't you wearing a flak jacket? That makes no sense. Frisco, 6.5, 45 against Jacksonville. Trend says take the trend in the Cleveland game is Cleveland. The trend in the Frisco game is Frisco. Decent road favorite. Jacksonville is terrible. Frisco woke up against the Rams. Now, I don't know what that means. Does that translate to them now playing good against Jacksonville? This I don't know, but I like to go with that. So I think Frisco is probably a good play there. Indy, Buffalo. You got to, well, Frisco was an E team. Jacksonville's a W team. So don't love Frisco because they're not, if they were an A or B, but I think they're getting better, but they're still not great that you can think they're going to win. Indy, Buffalo. Indy's an E. Buffalo's an A. Buffalo at home in a serious game, -7 and 50. I like Buffalo here, laying the 1. Probably over 50 down to 44 also. Indy can score with Wentz. Buffalo, pretty good defense. So it's either Buffalo scores and Indy doesn't, then you take Buffalo. If Indy starts scoring with Buffalo, then it goes over. And that's really the question, is Indy now against Tennessee, where Tennessee's got a good defense. They played well. So I look for Indy to score a little bit and Buffalo to score a little bit. So either of those I think are good. Miami and the Jets, W against Z. Miami's, Tagovailoa stinks. The fact that they win with him is not because of him. They put in a wildcat quarterback, or he doesn't do anything. The defense scores, a punt return, but it's never him. The head-to-head stats, Miami is 6-1 the last 7. I don't like Miami -3, but how do you bet the Jets? It's a very tough game. According to the trend, you want Miami, but I can't take Miami +3 at New York. New York's at home. They've had their moments beating Tennessee and Cincinnati and then losing to Buffalo. So you never know. They lost to New England at home, I believe. So they're not a really good home dog. How they got the upsets, I don't know. But I just like, this is a game I can't play. If I had to play it, I'd probably, well, I guess I'd have to play Miami because they're 6-1, and I believe in the trend. But maybe the under 44.5, under 50 would probably be the best way to play it. I don't know. The Jets might do well, but then Miami is 6-1 in the stats, so it kind of counters it. Washington W against Carolina and under. Cam Newton, whoop-de-doo, over under 43. I guess this is an under because Washington doesn't really score a lot. The defense is going to be shot because of Chase is out. Carolina is more of an under team. Cam Newton doesn't bring anything to the table. McCaffrey's back. You're not going to get the 3 interceptions by Darnell. So Cam Newton brings a little bit. I wouldn't play Carolina. I can't play Washington. Maybe the under is the only way to play the game. It's a lousy game, and that's what's going on in the NFL. You get so many of these bad matchups, Miami, the Jets, Washington. Well, you have no idea. The game could go either way, so it makes it extremely difficult. Baltimore, Chicago. Baltimore's an even team. They were a B team or an A team, but then they've played like crap the last couple of weeks. Losing at Miami. I mean, how am I going to – now here they go against Chicago. Lamar Jackson's questionable in the game, so he's got some sort of illness, but he doesn't have COVID because it says COVID when it's COVID. So he's got some illness. I would assume he'll play. It's probably an under game, over under 45, because you got Fields, who's terrible, and Lamar Jackson, who you never know what he's going to do. So if they blitz Jackson, which is probably what Chicago will do with their defense, and Khalil Mack, if he plays. So I look at the game under. I'm tired of taking Baltimore even against weak teams and they lose. So I don't know. They don't have a running attack, and Lamar Jackson can't really throw the ball. He's terrible. Philly -2, 43.5. New Orleans is a solid B team. Even with Simeon, they played very well at Tennessee last week. Philadelphia is an E team. So they score 25, give up 25, somewhere around there. The trend on this game is New Orleans all day. Very strong road dog. Philly's very weak home favorite. I really like New Orleans. Even with Simeon, I don't have a problem with Simeon. Like I said, they played Tennessee very strong. If the kicker didn't miss 2 extra points, they would have won the game by 1. Philadelphia, who knows? They're not, now they're favored. They're not that good. and you have New Orleans is a very strong dog, very strong defense. They'll know how to handle Hurts. They'll just put pressure on him. So I look for New Orleans to win the game. Houston, Tennessee. Houston's a Z team. Tennessee's a B team, playing very well, -10. Over under a 45. My line was -17. I don't know why Tennessee's only laying 10.5 in this game. I mean, yeah, Henry's out, but big deal. They beat a very good New Orleans team. The trend is Tennessee, so I like Tennessee -4.5 to tell you the truth. There's other running backs besides Henry, and look at Cleveland. Chubb goes down, Hunt goes down, and they bring in the other kid, Johnson, I think, and they don't miss a beat. So Tennessee's fine without Henry. Green Bay 1.5 over Minnesota, over under 47.5. Green Bay is a solid B plus, probably an A team. Their stats get a little skewed with the Jordan Love game and the New Orleans game where they didn't score a lot, which is why they're not A. But I think with Rodgers, they're an A. Minnesota's a good E team. Hard to figure. Good defense. That was my lock last week, was Minnesota getting 9 from San Diego, and they win the game straight out. Here they're 1.5. Now here the dog has covered the last 6 games. Not won, but covered. So they played close games. The game's in mini. Now, the big question is Aaron Rodgers has a hurt toe. Now, I would bet Aaron Rodgers is going to play. He's not going to not, but he's got a hurt toe. So, question, well, Aaron Jones is out. So I kind of like the under in the game. If Rodgers and Jones were healthy, I'd be all over Green Bay here, but I kind of like either Minnesota or the way this defense is playing on Green Bay. I kind of like the under game. Derek Miller. Hello, Derek. Who wins tonight? New England wins tonight. Tennessee defense playing well, yeah. Minnesota, I think, beats Green Bay Sunday. Well, it depends if Aaron Rodgers plays. If Aaron Rodgers plays, I think Green Bay gets the W. He's got a hurt toe. So I'm going to say that the under is the best play because you saw what Green Bay's defense did to Seattle. They look very strong defensively now, and Minnesota has a good defense. So, Kirk Cousins, they're going to run Cook. So I look for this game to be under is really the best way to play it, or you play Minnesota keep in mind if Rodgers doesn't play, but he's got a toe. I know Jones is out, but he's got a toe, so I don't know what that means. He's questionable. Again, I have to wait till probably Saturday evening to see. So with the pros, there's a lot of waiting till Saturday. I did play tonight's game, but you got to wait for Green Bay. You got to wait. Baltimore's Lamar Jackson playing. Buffalo, I think, is pretty much set. Frisco, I think, is pretty much set. So you just got to wait on that. Cincinnati 1-50 against Oakland. They're both even teams. They're E teams. So they both score mid-20s, give up mid-20s. So not a great defense there. I would say the game goes over, especially after watching Kansas City. Over 44 is 24-20. Cincinnati doesn't have that dominant. Neither team has dominating defense. They both have good quarterbacks. I think Derek Carr is a pretty good quarterback. So I mean, that's my feeling. So I think this game goes. I don't think Cincinnati's defense is going to stop Oakland. Cincinnati's been playing terrible the last few weeks. Had the bye last week. Gives Burrow and Chase a chance to get more practice, and although they don't really need it, they played in college together. But again, if Oakland was a 2-point favorite, I'd be locking Cincinnati in 8. This is the problem. The line is wrong. I mean, Oakland should be favored in this game. Cincy is. I can't take Cincy +5, so it leads you to the over. And this is what's happening in the league. The wrong teams are favored. Now, New Orleans, Philly's favored. New Orleans should be favored, and I love that New Orleans is the dog. But in Cincy, Oakland, I don't love that Oakland's the dog. Arizona 2.5 over Seattle. Arizona's an A. Seattle's an under, and over under went from 50 to 48. This is a game. I didn't. Well, I think this is a dog series, Arizona and Seattle. The last 4 or 5 have been dogs. Seattle's not a great home dog, but they're not a home dog very often. Arizona, now, my friend asked me, well, what if, I said, check on Murray first. He said, well, if Murray plays, am I going to bet Arizona? I go, no. If Murray doesn't play, we're going to play Seattle in 8.5, and we're going to go under 48 to 54. And the reason is Russell Wilson getting shut out makes no sense. All right. He's pissed. He does not like to lose, and he got shut out. You're going to see Russell Wilson go crazy in this game. I'm not afraid of Arizona at Seattle. Seattle's defense played okay. Let's say Russell Wilson was a little rusty, which I don't think so. He did throw 2 interceptions in the end zone last week, so you know they're going to fix that. I just see Seattle getting 8.5 at home against Arizona. Now, if Murray doesn't play, it's a strong play. And so is the under, because Colt McCoy's questionable. So who's their third string quarterback? Somebody else from Texas Tech, I guess. So I really like, right now, I like Seattle. If Murray doesn't play, I really like Seattle even more, and the under in the game. Dallas. A team against KC, and E team. KC minus 2.5, 55.5. The trend is Dallas. Strong road dog. KC's a weak home favorite. I really like Dallas here. Getting 8.5. Yeah, KC came alive against Oakland, but Dallas, KC's going to have a hard time containing them. Over under 55.5 is got to be an over, but just I think I like more just taking Dallas an 8.5 in this game. Will Chocolatey Clear play? I don't know. This is something that we'll have to wait on. That'll make a little difference. KC will run the ball a little bit more, but I like Dallas an 8.5 here, especially the way they came back. Okay, we don't know what happened in the Denver game. I assume it was fixed. Then they come back really strong against Atlanta. I assume that game was fixed. So now Dallas, KC, in the fixed game, I like the dog. So I think you take Dallas there. Pitt, San Diego. Pitt's an under. San Diego's an even. Over under 47. And here's Roethlisberger. We're waiting to see if he gets back from COVID. He was out with COVID, but I haven't seen that he's okay to play. Aaron Rodgers, we had to wait till Saturday. If Roethlisberger plays, the trend is Pittsburgh. San Diego's a terrible home favorite. I like the 12.5 in Pitt. Now, if he doesn't play, then I like the under, because then 53, Pitt, good defensive team. I think that should play. And San Diego, we know, but Bosa's out with COVID, so it's going to hurt their defense a little bit. Derek Miller, Chargers, I think, beats the Pittsburgh team. Well, it depends if Roethlisberger's out or not. If he's out, yeah, but if he's playing, no, I think I like Pittsburgh. And the Giants, 10.5. Tampa Bay, 10.5 over the Giants, over under 50. The trend's all Giants. The Giants are like 15-2 as a road dog. Tampa's a decent home favorite, but really the emphasis is on the Giants. So what's wrong with Tampa Bay? They've lost 2 in a row, even with the bye. Brady should handle the Giants here. They're an under team, so they have a pretty good defense. They're scoring more than they have been. Tampa Bay just has a lot of injuries. Richard Sherman and the other cornerback, and then Gronk's been out, Antonio Brown's been out. So once they start getting their players back, I think Tampa's pretty pissed off after losing 2 in a row, though. So it's a hard one to play the Giants. That's the problem with the Giants. They play these good teams. They play them close, but it's so hard to play them. Like here against Tampa, I don't want to fuck with Tom Brady after 2 losses. You know they're going to be focused. It's a Monday night, so I don't want to play against them. Teams that are undefeated, let's go into the stats. A lot of Pittsburgh defense is hurt or COVID-19. Well, yeah, and Roethlisberger. So to me, if Roethlisberger comes back, and then I'll have to check the Pitt defense. Maybe if Watt and Bush are out with COVID, that makes a big deal. San Diego, Bosa's got COVID, so we got to see about the more COVID on San Diego. But yeah, I mean, if to me, it's up to Roethlisberger if he plays. Then I like Pitt. If he doesn't, then I like San Diego. Let me get into my trend. Okay, so for 2021, okay, so this year, if we just look at this year's total teaser, Minnesota's 8-1, Green Bay's 9-1. Now, again, if Rodgers doesn't play, that does change it. Dallas is 8-1. New England 9-1, Indy 8-1. If you go against Houston 8-1, Miami 9-1, Jacksonville 8-1. The Jets are actually 7-2 on their two upsets. Jacksonville 8-1 against, and then Washington 8-1 against, Atlanta 8-1 against, and of course Detroit 8-1 against. Now, if you notice, Washington they were 8-0 last week. They beat Tampa. Atlanta was 8-0, and then they lost. They beat New Orleans, which got their win. Jacksonville beat Miami for their win. Houston, they beat somebody. Oh, I think they won early in the year. So, I mean, these teams are just getting their, but what tends to happen on these trends. So here's where you got to look at the big picture. Green Bay's got Minnesota, and Minnesota, okay, is a home dog. Green Bay's okay as a road. Green Bay's not a great road favorite. So that's what you're looking at is what do I do with the trend? That's why I'm looking at this year with so many coaching changes and quarterback changes. Let's just see what's happening this year. So of that, so the mini Green Bay game, it's kind of, both teams. Dallas against KC. Dallas is strong. KC's 8-2 against. Dallas is 8-1 with. So that gets you there's a little Dallas. New England tonight, 9-1. Indy 8-1, and they got to play Buffalo. Buffalo is 6-3 this year. They had that little losing streak. And then you go against. So if we go against Houston, so we got Tennessee -4.5. Tennessee's 8-2, so that's a pretty good one with Tennessee. Miami 9-1 against has at the Jets, and they've been the dog quite a bit. So Miami's 1-0 as a road favorite. I think that was the game in London, and it was a push, so I give it a win on a push. Jacksonville 8-1. They've got Frisco, so I kind of like Frisco there. And then Washington 8-1's got Carolina. I don't like anybody there. And Atlanta's 8-1, and that's where we go to. That's tonight with New England. So New England makes sense tonight. 9-1 New England against -8-1 Atlanta. And then our beloved Lions 8-1 against our road dog to Cleveland. Well, Cleveland's laying a lot of points, 11 points. I think that's really big, especially with the injuries they got. So if we looked at that, if we go back to 2020, and now we can get a little bit more of the roll. So Minnie's 3-0 home dog. They're lousy as a home favorite. They're 3. See, here you go again. Minnesota, you bet against them as a home favorite, but you take them as a home dog. The Bears 7-1 against as a home dog. Detroit 8-3. They're 21-4 against. 8-3 as a road dog, so they must be covering a little bit. Green Bay is 6-2 either way, but again, it's all up to Rodgers. Tampa Bay 8-2 is a home favorite. The Niners 5-1 is a road favorite. That's good. The Rams are off, I think. New Orleans 4-0 is a road dog. That's why I like them. Atlanta, no, they don't have anything. They're tonight. They're a home dog, and they're 3-2, 4-1 against. So yeah, they're 10-1 against at home, Atlanta. So that's why I went with New England. Carolina is what they're a home favorite to Washington. Carolina is 5-0 against as a home favorite. Washington 7-3 as a road dog or against road dog. So you can see why I'm not interested in Carolina. They just don't like it. The Giants 10-1 is a road dog. So Tampa's 8-2 is a home favorite. And the Giants 10-1 is a road dog. And they played Kansas City tough on the road. So it's going to be very similar to that game. Philadelphia, what are they? A road? They're a home favorite. Phillies 4-0 against as a home favorite. 11-1 against at home. So again, it's a team like Arizona where at home they stink. On the road, they're a better road dog. They're a terrible road favorite. So here you got them where they're not good at home against the good New Orleans team. Washington is a road dog, nothing. Dallas is a road dog, 6-2. Arizona is a road favorite, 4-2, nothing really. Cincinnati, nothing. They're just blending. Baltimore, 7-3 is a road favorite, 8-2 against. Tennessee as a home favorite, they're 8-1 against. So it makes it hard to get excited about them. Pitt is a road dog. Now here's one. They're 6-1 as a road dog, and San Diego is 10-1 against as a home favorite. That's why I say that. Now, if Pitt doesn't have Roethlisberger and the defense has COVID, just beware of who it is on the defense. If it's J.J. Watt and Bush, okay. If it's not T.J. Watt, if it's not T.J. Watt, I don't care that their defense has COVID because they got the backups and they got a good defensive scheme. So if Roethlisberger or Watt are the two with COVID, that's different. If they both play, I don't care about the other guys with COVID. So I like Pitt if Roethlisberger and Watt play as a road dog because San Diego's 10-1 against as a home favorite, and I've won with 2 locks against them. I had Dallas and Minnesota. I locked against them and won, and they both won the game, and I was getting 9 or 10 in both games. Cleveland is a home favorite, nothing. Jacksonville's pathetic. 9-2 is against as a home dog, and that's where we got them. Miami is a road favorite, not enough. Buffalo 10-1 is a home favorite. Indy is a road dog, 5-1. So that they're pretty good, but they haven't. Indy goes on the road. They're 5-2 as a road favorite, 5-1 as a road dog. So they're 10-3 on the road, but Buffalo's 13-1 at home, and you got them as a home favorite. I think Buffalo wins the game -7. They should win the game -1. I think it should be a close game. New England tonight, well, it's 4-1. Game's already started, but they're 4-1 as a road favorite. Houston is a road dog, they're a road dog at Tennessee, and they're 10-0 against as a road dog, 22-3 against, 88% in the teaser. If you go against Houston, so 10-0 as a road dog, 22-3 against. So that's why it's a Tennessee trend, even without Henry. And the question is, what are you going to do? So you don't have Henry. You lay 4.5. They should win. It's a big trend on Tennessee. So it's just, if it was 8, you could lock it -2, 10.5. You got it like 4.5. It's a hard lock. Again, in the NFL, if they win by 3, they're happy. If they're up by 10 and the other team scores a touchdown, they win by 3. Especially with Tyrod Taylor back. If he's back and healthy, then it's a different Houston team than with Mills. So it's a hard one to lay 4.5 with, especially if Taylor's back. The Jets we talked about as a home dog, nothing. Oakland is like Oakland. They're like They have no trouble. The only trend is as a road favorite. They're 6-0 against. Here they're a home dog. They're 5-3 as a home dog, 6-2 against. There's really nothing there. Denver's off. San Diego, we talked about. KC is a home favorite. They're 7-7 as a home favorite. 12-2 against as a home favorite. And 23-6, 79% against overall. So this is a Dallas trend all the way. And Seattle doesn't have anything as a home dog. They're very rarely a home dog. They're 8-3 as a home favorite. So they're 9-4 at home. So let's go back a few. Let's go back to 2018 to see what Seattle is. If they've even been, I might have to go back to 2014 to really get Seattle as home dog. Come on. Okay. So I'm now back in 2018 world. Seattle's 4-1 as a home dog, both with and against. San Diego's 20-3 as a home against as a home favorite. Oakland is a home dog, still nothing. The Jets 22-5. Oh no, that's a road dog. Nothing there. Houston 19-4 against as a road dog. Indy. Now, Indy's pretty good. They're 17-3 as a road dog. So we go back to 18, 19, 20, and then this year. So 17-3 as a road dog is pretty good. Buffalo's 15-5 as a home favorite. Miami, no, they're very rarely a road favorite. Jacksonville is a home dog, is nothing. Cleveland, nothing. Pitt, 11-3 road dog. Tennessee, 15-3 with or against as a home favorite. So they play a lot of close games. Minnie's 4-1 as a home dog. Detroit's 46-11, 81% against going to 2018. Green Bay's 11-3 against as a road favorite. Tampa Bay, you don't have Brady. Frisco. Now, Frisco's 9-1 as a road favorite all the way back to 18. Well, of course, they did go to the Super Bowl that year, I believe. New Orleans 9-1 as a road dog. So they are a very good road dog. They're 16-4 as a road favorite, which is huge. They're 25-5. New Orleans very strong on the road. Philly 12-6. Philly, now here you go. Philly's 16-2 against as a home favorite. 9-2 against as a home dog. They're 25-4 against at home. 16-2. So that's why I really like New Orleans this week. Carolina 12-3 against as a home favorite. The Giants. Now here's where the Giants are 24-2 as a road dog. I mean, what do you do with this team against Tampa? 24-2 as a road dog. There's just something about them that for some reason they play extremely well on the road. Now, granted, they're probably getting more of a price. Like here, they're getting 10.5. They probably shouldn't be. And the question is how much, which Tampa team, they lost to Washington. Are they going to kill the Giants? I don't know. But I mean, according to this, they're not. According to this, the Giants in 16 is probably a lock. Dallas 14-4 is a road dog, and Arizona is 4-2. Again, they're not a strong road favorite. So that's what you have with that. Let me see. Derek Fitzpatrick Watts. Oh, Fitzpatrick and Watts. They all have COVID. Who's Fitzpatrick, Derek? If Watts has it, but Roethlisberger's the key then. So we'll see. Derek, it's always one upset every week. Cincinnati lost to the Jets. The Jags beat Buffalo, and Pitt would have lost if Detroit had a kicker. What upset this week? New Orleans, I think, is the upset this week, just based on they are the favorite. If you want a really big upset, well, Dallas, I think, gets the upset. Seattle, I think, gets the upset. New Orleans, there ain't no way Detroit's beating Cleveland. And, you could almost say the Giants. They're such a good road dog. But if Tom Brady loses 3 in a row, there's going to be some big problems there. Houston beats Tennessee. No, probably not. But it is Tyrod Taylor there. I do think he make a huge difference over Mills. But Tennessee, Houston's such a bad road dog. I don't see that. But again, I'm not really trusting the 4.5. But I do think that Houston plays them a decent game. Cam Newton gets revenge Sunday. Riverboat Ron. Cam Newton's so bad though. You got Chase Young out and another Sweat I think's out, which is going to help Cam Newton. He's just not very good. There's a reason New England had him let him go. I mean, he's terrible. Now, is he going to be better? But this isn't even his coach. Rivera was his coach, knows how to coach him. So I don't know. How bad's Washington? How bad's Carolina? I don't know. I'm not looking at Carolina. I can't trust them. I don't know enough about them to sit there and love Carolina. Like we say, Baltimore, I don't know. Philly, I can't trust at home. Green Bay Mini, we got to look for Rodgers. So a lot's going to be determined Saturday when we get, is Rodgers playing? If he's not, it's a lock under. If Murray is not playing for Arizona, it's a lock under. And Seattle an 8.5. Roethlisberger plays. I like Pitt in 12.5, even with what in the COVID, because Bosa's in COVID for San Diego, so that kind of washes. But I like Roethlisberger. He'll keep the game close. San Diego just is not. They don't blow you out. They play like even in the game. So like against Minnesota last week, they didn't blow them out. They lost 27-20. It was like, oh, we need a touchdown. They get a touchdown and that's it. I don't know. I don't understand San Diego. They seem to have a great offense, but they don't use it. And their defense, now you've lost Bosa. Now do they have the great defense? So they're a mystery team. I think they're badly coached. I think that's the point with a lot of these teams. I can name you the best coach is going to be Sean Payton of New Orleans. So if I go through it, Belichick's okay. I don't like Shanahan. Urban Meyer is good at Ohio State, but I don't think he's good in the NFL. McDermott at Buffalo. They're all the same, offensive, quarterback friendly, but they don't know how to coach. Miami's coach stinks. The Jets coach stinks. Washington, Rivera, I've never been a huge fan of. I do like Rule at Carolina in college. I don't like him in the pros. Harbaugh, I have lost all respect for. He can't handle a blitz. So what do you think the Bears are going to? The Bears are going to. Khalil Mack's going to live in the backfield. Probably an under in that game. Peyton, I said Philadelphia. I don't even know who their coach is. Tennessee, yeah, I like Vrabel. Green Bay, it's all Aaron Rodgers. Minnesota, he's okay. Cincinnati, I don't even know who. I think was he a quarterback in Nebraska? This guy, what does he know? Oakland has no coach. Arizona has, a college coach. Coach Pete, I love Coach Pete. Dallas, no coach. I do not like the Green Bay. McCarthy is not a very good coach. He had Aaron Rodgers and didn't win a Super Bowl. Are you freaking kidding me? KC, Andy Reid, I don't like him from losing 4 championship games at Philadelphia. He just happens to have Mahomes, so Mahomes bails him out a little bit more. But Pitt's coach is okay. San Diego, I don't know. The Giants, this guy's terrible, and I don't like Tampa Bay's coach unless it's Tom Brady as the actual coach. So you can't name Bill Parcells, Bill Walsh, Vince Lombardi, Chuck Noll, Chuck Knox. Where are those coaches? And so therefore you've got a bunch of like quarterback coaches. So they're like, oh, like Shanahan. What has he done? Okay, he got him to a Super Bowl. He blew the Atlanta Super Bowl because he didn't run the ball. When they had instead of just running the clock, kicking a field goal and winning, what does he do? He throws the ball with who throws the ball in the Super Bowl with a couple minutes left, and you're up 7, you go up 10, the game's over. Who the hell runs the ball, passes the ball? And then, so a lot of these McDermott's and, the Buffalo coach and they're just these Green Bay coach. I don't know. He doesn't know what he's doing. Arizona's coach. Again, these are all offensive coaches that let's go for it on fourth down and go for two. I mean, you can throw up. So it's really hard to bet the coaches. I can bet Peyton and I can probably bet Belichick tonight. I think he'll win the game. I don't know. Now, I've been here, so I don't know what the score is. So if we recap, we took New England tonight. Frisco, I like, don't love. Buffalo, I like, I don't love. Miami is 6-1 against the Jets, but I ain't playing Miami. Baltimore 4.5 over the Bears. Maybe now Lamar Jackson's injured or he's ill. He'll probably play. But again, with the Bears, it's probably an under because Fields won't do anything. But Baltimore is so badly coached. The Bears will blitz them, and Jackson will go, what do I do? Oh, I'm supposed to throw the ball short to a running back? Really? New Orleans, I like. Tennessee, I don't love it at 10.5. We'll have to check on Tyrod Taylor. Green Bay, mini. It's an under, and then if Rodgers doesn't play, it's a very strong under. And then mini and 7.5 will probably go favorite if Rodgers doesn't play. So the bet there is under. But again, it's a toe injury, and Adam Jones is out. The running back for Green Bay, they're going to run the Dillon kid. So look for an under game there. Green Bay's defense has been really strong. Cincinnati, Oakland, I like the over. I can't play a team. Arizona, Seattle. Again, watch Murray. If he's out, Seattle an 8.5 is a lock. Seattle under is probably a lock because Colt McCoy's kind of injured, so they're on their third string. So the quicker you hear about Murray, I think he's got a high ankle sprain. I don't think it's just like a sprained ankle because he's out. A regular ankle sprain, he'd be out 2-3 days and they'd wrap it up. He must have a high ankle sprain. And this is the problem with these running quarterbacks, right? As soon as they get hurt, they're screwed. The other kid on San Francisco played, 5 minutes, and he hurt his knee. He's probably done. And so you just look at these guys, and you're just so with Murray's out, McCoy's out, immediately go to Seattle an 8.5. Believe me, Russell Wilson is pissed off about getting shut out at home. He will play a very good game. I don't know how bad his finger is. He came back a little early, but he's still got it's still probably a little problem. But I didn't see it. He threw 2 picks in the end zone, which is unbelievable for him. So I don't think that, he drove him down the field. There wasn't anything really wrong. And it's not like they're new receivers, so he'll have the timing. Dallas, I like as the dog in the KC game. Pitt, it's all up to Roethlisberger. If he's still with COVID, now Rodgers sat out the week and was back. I would expect Roethlisberger to be the same. Boza and Watt cancel each other out with COVID, so I like the 12.5 in Pitt. And the Giants, Tampa Bay, I don't know how I don't really know how I can tell you to take the Giants in 16.5, but they're such a strong road dog that it probably is the play. But the trend is the Giants. But Tampa Bay after 2 losses, Tom Brady after 2 losses in a row. Tom Brady doesn't lose 3 games in a row. I don't care if he's got to play cornerback himself. I know there's a lot of injuries, but I think he'll start getting some guys back. And it's 2-game losing streak against the Giants. I just can't see him losing it. Anyway, so that's the scoreboard. I posted 3 locks in college. I love them. College is more consistent, I think. You got Alabama, LSU was a close game, but Georgia under. Just keep Ohio State, Michigan State this week. Look for a high scoring game. Keep in mind, Purdue put up 40 on Michigan State. Ohio State puts up more than 40. Michigan State, put up 29 on Purdue. I'm going to the Michigan State game for this, okay? Michigan State, what happens? They run Walker, Michigan State 37, Michigan 33. what does that show? It shows you that Michigan State's defense is really not that strong, which puts Ohio State at a 50 this week. But Michigan State puts up 37 on a good defensive Michigan team. So they will score in the 30s in this game. This is an 80 to 90 point game unless there's a rainstorm. And keep your eye on the weather. Check the weather Friday. But I've already played it. I love Ohio State and the over in the game. And that's not even my lock. I have other locks that are stronger than that. But the more I think about the Ohio State and then the Michigan State game, lets me know Michigan State's going to score in this game, okay? And their defense isn't very good. So Ohio State's going to score. But Michigan's defense is actually better than Ohio State's this year. And again, it was 37-33 against Michigan State. Ohio State scores a lot in this game. Michigan State will score in the 30s, probably a 50-something to 30 game. Keep in mind, it's a must-win for Ohio State. They've lost to Oregon. They cannot get to the playoff if they lose this game. And Michigan State would have beaten Michigan and Ohio State, and they would go to the not the playoff, but they would win the Big Ten West. So look for that. Michigan must win this week. Michigan must win this week to have any chance because they lost to Michigan State. So what probably will happen is Ohio State beats Michigan State. Michigan kills Maryland. Michigan, Ohio State. I saw a line, Ohio State -6. If that's the line, my lock next week's Ohio State even against Michigan because they've won 20 out of the last 21, and there's no freaking way they're losing to Michigan again. So that line's crazy. I might lock that game on Sunday if I get, let's say Murray's out. Then the lock's going to be Seattle under or Seattle 8.5 with Ohio State. I'll tell you that right now. So all my customers, keep an eye on your Sunday thing, and I'll post it this week. I'll post it and then roll it over to next week. But if Murray's out, that's what's going to happen. And then we'll watch Aaron Rodgers with the toe. If he's not playing, that could be a lock under there because Green Bay's defense is strong. Jordan Love stinks. And Minnesota, very good defensive, and Cook, they're going to run the ball. So this would be a very low-scoring game, Green Bay, Minnesota. Even if Rodgers plays, I'm not looking for a huge scoring game. But if he's out, then for sure it's, So those are a couple of locks that I'm waiting to lock, but I can't, you got to wait on it. So that's why pros, okay, we got New England tonight, but then, about Saturday, we're going to keep an eye, and that's where we're really going to unload once we get these injury statuses going. So anyway, watch Green Bay with Rodgers, watch Arizona with Murray, watch Pitt with Roethlisberger. So if they are in or out will depend on what we do. But for sure, the Green Bay mini goes under, and the Arizona-Seattle, we take Seattle. We could take the under. Pitt, we can with Roth, we take Pitt. We like Dallas. We like Tennessee. I don't know what Taylor. We like New Orleans, Baltimore. We probably play it under because I think the Bears will blitz. Just a guess. After what Miami did to Baltimore, I would think the Bears are going to blitz them. And Lamar Jackson's questionable anyway. So without him. Although I did like the Trace McSorley from Penn State so much better than Lamar Jackson. If they would have played them, they would have probably won a Super Bowl if they had played Trace McSorley. He had a good game in that one playoff game when Jackson didn't play or got hurt or something. He threw like the 70-yard touchdown. I don't know if it was a playoff game, but he looks good. So you stay away from Carolina. You stay away from Miami. Buffalo, Indy, maybe you take Buffalo. Frisco, Jacksonville, maybe you take Frisco. Cleveland, Detroit, that's a big number, and then New England tonight. So there you go. That's your pro rundown. I'll be back Sunday morning I'll be back Saturday morning with college, but Sunday morning we'll know more about the injuries. I'll try to get on earlier to give you time, but I don't know if I'll know. That's the problem. If I come on early, I still might not know about. Well, Roethlisberger, we should know, but Murray and Rodgers, I would assume that Rodgers plays and Murray has a high ankle sprain and doesn't. That would be my guess. But keep an eye on the line. If all of a sudden if Seattle goes favorite, we know why, and we jump on the under. And same thing with Rogers. If Rogers is out, Minnesota goes to favorite. We know Rogers is out. So the line will tell us everything. It's like poker. The key to poker, I play Hold'em, is not, there's no tell. The only tell is the bet. If you just watch the bet, it tells you everything, right? Does the guy normally bet with a pocket pair? How does he bet with pocket aces? Does he bluff? And you get these older guys, they do not bluff. They only are in with a good hand. The bluffers check when they got a good hand. It's hysterical. But that's what you're doing here. When the line's going to tell you the injuries, and that's the point I'm trying to make here. So let me look at Tennessee, Houston. Let me do it quickly now. I go to scoresandodds.com. It gives you a nice history. So let's see. Tennessee and Houston play each other twice a year. Titans, 2 Texans, 2 more Titans. So the Titans have won the last 3, and they've all been they've been close. Well, there was one in December of 19. They won by 21. Otherwise, the Texans won by 3. The Titans won by 6. The Titans won by 3. These are close games. Let's see if Tyrod Taylor. He's as far as he's not even on the injured list. In Tennessee, we know lost Julio Jones is on injured, and then Henry's on injured. So yeah, this is this isn't such an easy Tennessee win. With that, these are close games. So probably a Houston in 16.5 is probably the better play than Tennessee minus 4.5. Tennessee's not a blowout team, but Houston, we were betting against Mills, but not with Tyrod Taylor's good. So keep an eye on him. I think he's healthy and playing. So if he does, I think he played last week. He was not too good. Let's see. Houston. No, Houston didn't play last week. So go back 2 weeks. Yeah, Houston lost to Miami 17-9 with Taylor. So now he got a week off to practice last week. Yeah. So, yeah, they didn't score a lot against Miami. But now here they come against Tennessee. Now he's got another week. So look for that. So that's about it. So again, www.teaserking.com. 3 locks in college. I'll probably have at least 1 or 2 locks in the pros. But they're going to have to wait till probably Saturday, which is unfortunate because I would have liked to lock them with my college lock. That's really the key. So I'd love to lock college with a pro. And I want to do that. So hopefully I get the information that Murray's out or Rogers or something. Would be wonderful if I could get that information Friday night or early Saturday. So anyway, www.teaserking.com. The professor, good luck tonight. Good luck on the weekend. A lot of strong college games. Highly recommend getting the locks this week. And really, there's no difference. A 21-unit lock, a 25-unit lock. If you're buying because you want the 25-unit, you don't need to worry. I mean, I hit my locks last week, and some were 17 and some were 21. It really is not the issue. Last week, I lost a 21-unit lock. I won a 21, and I won 217. So really, that's just really fishing, worried about how many units I'm playing. If it's a lock, it's a strong play, and you should play it. Okay, everybody, www.teaserking.com. Good luck. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you Saturday morning.